To start this video series, here's an introduction to what we will be covering in the video. I've already got this graphic that I've created, and you can see I've set this graphic up in several different layers here. Let me open up the layer. The first layer is the clear initial layer, which is where we will cut our pocket and pour in a full full clear coat and let it harden. The next one that we're going to do is black, so let me undo this here. And the black will be carved into the clear out to this level here, and you can see the clear goes out past the black. Then the next thing we will be coloring is the white, ring, and soldier. The guide is, we're not going to epoxy, that's just for what it is. So the next thing we'll be doing is the white ring and the white soldier and the outer ring. So we're going to set up the toolpaths, and this will be the first session of this series, is setting up this toolpath. So let me show you what that looks like. Now that we've got everything separated into layers, remember I like to do layers. Oh, one other thing is, you see this here that says laser text? My plan is I'm going to go ahead and auction or raffle, not auction, I'm going to give this away to somebody for their own if they want it. And if somebody does win it and they want it, if they tell me a name of an individual, a unit name, or some other thing in memory of, I will laser that into this plaque along with the years or the date of death or whatever they want. So this will be a personalized plaque for someone if they enter the contest for receiving this plaque, and they will get this plaque when it's done. I will draw a name sometime in the near future. I haven't decided the date yet or how it's going to work, but that is the plan. It will probably come from my Instagram account because that's the one I monitor the most, but we will have some kind of drawing for this if somebody wants it. At the end of this series, you can all get this file for yourself and make your own plaques if you so desire. Now it's time to set up the toolpaths, and we're going to start with the clear toolpath. So I'm going to set up a V-bit. I'm going to only go to 0.05. When I actually carve it, I'm going to go to 0.135. I'm going to use a 30-degree V-bit for this one, simply because there's not much detail. I'm actually going to this outer line here, right here. And then everything else will carve inside of that. So that's just a clear pocket so that I don't have any bleed. You don't necessarily have to do that. You could start with the black or the white and just come out to this line or this line and then use a clear coat. But to be safe, Shane talks about his new method is always putting a coat in here and letting it harden. So I'm going to go ahead and use that methodology. I'm going to call that clear, one clear, so I know what it is, and I'm going to hit calculate. Oops, not yet. I have to hit selector, close vectors, associate with toolpath, my clear initial vector, that's what I'm going to use, and hit calculate, and now that's going to be my first cut. Let's take a look what it looks like. Now I didn't put a color in it because that's going to be clear. The next vectors that I want to do will be the black, and I'll save the white for last because all of the white is going to go into the black. So therefore I want to carve the black first. So once again I'm going to go to a V-bit, and in this case I'm not going to have any detail either. I'm only going to have the black come out to where the white's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and make this, let's say 0.1 right now, just so I can see what the color looks like. It will actually be 0.125 when I set it up to carve and give the file to you. And when I use it, I'm going to use the same 30-degree V-bit, same 1/4 inch end mill. I'm going to hit select. I don't need to have to hit select. I'm going to use it. I'm just going to go ahead and use the offset. That's fine. And I'm going to call this black, and that'll be my second color, but it'll be my third toolpath in the end. But I'm going to say 2 BL, so I know that's black, and I'm going to hit calculate, and I'm going to preview that path. And on that path, I want to actually change the toolpath color to black. So now we have our clear and our black, and our last color will be white. And so I'm going to go ahead and toolpath that now, close, go back to the drawing. And as you can see, there's a lot of delicate detail in the white that you have to carve into between the letters and all of the other elements. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use a 15-degree V-bit, and I'm going on here, going to go to 0.15 just for demonstration purposes, so we can see what it looks like when we carve it. I'm going to select my 15-degree V-bit from Rip Precision Tools, and it's got a pass depth of 0.1 and the speed. A lot of people ask about that speed. It's 30, and I actually think this should be 18,000. I'm going to change this to 18,000 here because that's what it should be long term. If I didn't want to change it permanently, I would wait and change it in the edit section. Hit select. So I just changed it permanently. Now if I had not wanted to change it permanently, because I'm just updating this database, that's why I still haven't got it fully worked out, I would have hit edit now, and then I would have changed it, and it would have only done for this one toolpath. But I did want to change it for the whole thing. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch bit for these sections in here. So I want to go ahead and, in addition to my 1/4 inch end mill, I want to add a 1/8 inch mill for some of these other areas in here, and then some of these letters. So I'm going to go ahead and add another clearance bit, select a 1/8 inch end mill, and what I have in my RIP Precision Tools is this one right here, which is a 1/4 inch shaft and a 1/8 inch cut diameter, 0.125, step over 20,000 RPM for that bit, hit select. Selector, I want to now use the white ring, the white text, the white soldier. So everything that's white, I'm taking care of. Hit with an associate toolpath, hit close. So we've got it automatic, and that'll be 3WH. And I'll hit calculate, and I'll hit preview. Let's see how that looks. And what I want to do is go ahead and make that toolpath white for preview. And you can see that that's how that's going to look inside there with the soldier. And so it's looking pretty darn good. And then the last thing, which I will not be putting in epoxy, because I want to be able to have a quick turnaround, is actually the name of the soldier. But for demonstration purposes, for a picture, I'll go ahead and demonstrate what that will look like by putting a brown color in here to kind of simulate the actual burning in the laser. So let's do that next. I'm going to do a vCarve 15-degree bit. It doesn't matter how deep it's actually going because I'm not really cutting it, but I'll put 125. I'll leave the 15-degree. I'll take out the 1/4 inch because it's not that big. Remove that. It probably won't be used. Selector and associate with close, and I'm going to put laser text. Hit close, and I'm just going to put laser so I know it's not actually being cut into there. And I'm going to change this to brown. And it looks like I might have kept something extra selected. See these whites? Remove those white, hit close, recalculate, and then we'll preview that. Turn them all to brown. And so this is what the final plaque is going to look like that I go ahead and have a drawing for, and this will be personalized with my laser. I'm actually going to use mahogany, so I changed the material to look like mahogany. And of course, these tracks that you see from the V-bits and all that, that will not be clear. It will all be nice and white like this. That's just the tracks of the residue for how this looks because of the way it has to carve in the program. But in the end, this is what the plaque's going to look like. Since originally recording this file, I went to the workshop and I found that the wood that I was using was a little different size. It's still mahogany, but the wood I actually found was just slightly different than the wood I originally started with. So I need to make a couple changes and recalculate and get set up for the actual carving of the clear pocket. So I'm going to go back to the original job setup, and my mahogany is actually 11.25 inches by 15 inches. Let's make sure I got mahogany light, fine, and I'm still going to zero off the lower left axis. I'm going to hit OK. And now that I changed that, I have to go ahead and recalculate all my toolpaths. So I'm going to hit recalculate, right click, recalculate all, hit OK, and then I will go ahead and check each of these toolpaths. Let me check this toolpath real quick. Selector, and I don't want open vectors, I want closed vectors, all closed. This one here, and I want the black ring. Hit close, calculate. And the reason I did that was because when I looked at it in an earlier preview off screen, something didn't look quite right. So we're going to hit reset preview. We'll just go through each of these one by one. So we've got that automatic selector. Click off here, closed. We only want clear initial. We don't want any open vectors. Close. Calculate. Black. Selector. Closed. Black. Close. Calculate. Go to white. Selector. Checking the bit. 15 degree V bit. Selector. Want the white soldier, the white text, the white ring, everything. Close, calculate, and then last but not least is the laser. We want to, that doesn't matter because we're going to laser it actually. Selector, close. We don't want open vectors. I'm not sure how that got thrown in there. It did on a couple of them when they recalculate, so I wanted to check each one. Hit calculate, reset preview. And now we're going to preview all. Compare that to the 2D view. Everything looks good. I actually might want to move this slightly up. I think I would like a little more space between these two right here. So I'm going to go ahead just a little bit. Alright, everything should be centered right and left, but I will validate that one more time. I'm going to group it like I did before. I'm going to center it right to left. Nope, it moved somehow. It looked like it had moved to me, so that's why I checked it. Always recheck if you have any questions. Hit close. Now I'm going to ungroup back onto their original layers, and I want just a little more distance between the name. Just a personal preference. This should be still centered, but I will validate that something didn't move. It did move over a little bit. So we now have everything squared up. Group this. Close. Ungroup. So now everything is the way we want it. I'm going to recalculate all. Okay. go to 3D view, reset preview, and then preview all toolpaths. Okay, that's more the spacing I like. I like that, so we're going to go with that. So the first toolpath that we want to create and validate, remember these toolpaths are all set just so that I can best see them on this plaque. These are not the depths for which I actually want to carve. I am now going to set the first toolpath of the clear pocket, and the clear pocket, if we reset the preview, is going to be this pocket right here. So I need to set the depth of that so it's deeper than all of the other ones. And if we look at it, you'll see it's slightly outside the outer white ring, so that any bleed from the resin will not go into the end fibers once we've carved those pockets. So now we need to set the proper depth of that. I'm using a 30-degree V-bit, and I'm going to take that down to 0.135. And I've got a 30-degree V-bit. I'll cut that first around the outside profile, and then the next thing I will cut will be the actual quarter-inch. I'll use a quarter-inch end mill to cut the most of that pocket. Hit calculate, reset, check it one more time, preview visible path, and then I'll save that toolpath. And this first toolpath is actually my quarter-inch end mill, and so that will actually be my second cut. My first cut will be my 30-degree V-bit, but I'm going to save it, save the toolpath into a USB drive, and I'm going to get rid of this. And this bit is going to be 1/25 quarter-inch end mill clear. Actually, I should make this 2, because that's my second bit. Save. Then I'll take my next bit, which is a 30-degree, and I'll save that as 1-V30, so I know it's a 30-degree V-bit, CL1. So that tells me that that's a 30-degree V-bit. And I don't actually need it CL1, I just need it clear. This is my own style. You don't have to follow this. So now I have them saved to the USB drive. It's time to go out and make that first cut. This is where I'll end that first video in this series at setting up the cut for the clear pocket. Again, there's a number of ways you could approach the pre-coat. I could have actually just cut out to the end of the white a little bit and taken a brush and spread some resin, some clear resin on there just with a brush, which is the way I used to do it. I could have actually just poured a small ring that went from the outer edge of the white all the way overlapped with the black a little bit and just poured that clear, and that would have put a boundary on the end grain for the board. But I wanted to demonstrate the method that Shane is using on a regular basis, even though it's using a little bit more resin. You can make your decision on how you want to approach it, but for me, I went ahead and put the clear cut pocket all the way out past the full design by 0.05 inches. That's what I did, 0.05 inches. And I'm going to fill that up with clear resin and let that harden. Earlier today, I did go ahead and make that cut. I recorded the cut and I also poured it. And I've been putting a torch to it and popping bubbles for a period of time. And by tomorrow, it should be hardened and I should be able to move on to the next cut, which will be black. And I'll demonstrate that, and I'll do a review real quickly of the tool path just before I cut the black. So tonight or tomorrow, if I can make time, I'm going to edit the carving section so you can see what I did. It shouldn't be that long. I want to talk a little bit about the hold down of the material, properly setting up with the right Z, how I mark the Z, how I flatten the material ahead of time. So it'll be a little longer than the rest of the cuts, I would imagine, but I think it's worth going over, and I just don't have time right now to edit it, and it would make this video too long. So with that, I hope you can get some things from this video. And once the series is together, you'll have all of the colors and all the techniques used to pour this multicolor plaque and be able to gift it or keep it or just use it as a practice run. I hope you're enjoying the series, or I hope you do enjoy the series when I get it completed. Hope you have a great day, a great life. And if you like what you're getting, please share that information with others and comment in the comment section. It helps. And subscribe. Subscribers really help, and I appreciate all of the comments that I get. Again, have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.